All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're unpacking a massive, life-changing paradigm shift when it comes to personal finance. Now, to be clear, this isn't just about simple budgeting tricks or clipping coupons. It's about fundamentally rewiring how you view every single dollar you earn and every dollar you spend. Let's just dive right in. Picture this. If a mugger pointed a gun at you in a dark alley and demanded your money or your life, well, you'd hand over your wallet in a heartbeat, right? I mean, obviously, your life is infinitely more valuable than whatever cash you have in your pocket. But here is the crazy paradox. While we'd instantly give up our money to save our lives in an alleyway, we actually sacrifice our lives daily for money. Whether we're doing it intentionally or completely unintentionally, so many of us are literally valuing our money higher than our own life energy. Just think about what that daily sacrifice actually looks like for a second. The alarm blares at 7 a.m., you drag yourself out of bed, shower, put on the professional uniform, hop in the car, and just battle rush hour traffic. Then you're at work from 9 to 5, dealing with endless emails, managing crazy stress, acting busy, constantly watching the clock. At 5, you battle the commute back home, try to act like a normal human with your partner, eat, and then basically just sink into the sofa to decompress with a couple of Netflix episodes because, well, you've had a rough day. Get 8 hours of sleep, and boom, you repeat the whole shebang all over again. People living this life aren't making a living. They're kind of dying a slow death of exhaustion, mostly just to buy things they don't even really need. It's wild, but society conditions us into this incredibly toxic cycle. You know, we enter the workforce thinking money is going to buy us happiness, better relationships, perfect health, but so often the exact opposite happens. The stress of the daily grind actually deteriorates our physical and mental health, and we end up with absolutely zero time left for the relationships we were supposedly working so hard to support in the first place. We literally trade our most precious asset for stress, for clutter, and for a lifestyle that just keeps us trapped. Section 1. Money is life energy. So how do we actually break free from this? It all starts with step 1, completely changing the very definition of money itself. Money isn't just paper dollars, euros, or rupees. Money is life energy. You and I have a very limited, completely non-refundable amount of time on this earth. And every single time you go to work, you're trading a fraction of that precious, finite life energy in exchange for currency. Once you truly grasp this concept, there is no turning back. You stop seeing a price tag as just a random dollar amount, and you start seeing it as the actual hours of your life you had to give away to earn it. To really elevate this idea, the source material uses a brilliant building analogy. Imagine viewing money from different heights. Down at street level, you're just looking at everyday transactions, paying the bills, basically just surviving. Take the elevator up to the 3rd floor, and you see this psychological perspective, how money triggers feelings of lack, greed, or fear based on how you were raised. Go all the way up to the roof, and you start seeing the cultural norms, like the heavy societal expectation to buy bigger houses or flashier cars. But when you get into a helicopter and look down from high above, you see the ultimate spiritual truth. Money is simply the life energy you exchanged to get it. Which brings us to Section 2, your true hourly wage. It is time to face the music and calculate your actual financial reality. We all tend to think we make a certain fixed amount per hour, right? But we almost never factor in the hidden costs of actually holding that job. So here's the math. First, start with your perceived hourly pay. Then, you have to subtract the time and the money you spend commuting. Next, subtract the cost of work clothes you absolutely wouldn't buy otherwise. And then, this is a big one, subtract the money you spend decompressing. You know, those expensive drinks or random impulse purchases you make just because you had a miserable day at the office. Oh, and you also have to add the extra hours spent doing all these job-related activities to your total working hours. When you actually sit down and do this math, the result is completely jarring. Take a worker with a perceived median wage of $16.50 an hour. Once you factor in the daily commute, the professional wardrobe, and those expensive drinks to decompress, that wage plummets to an abysmal $6.10 an hour. And get this, that's before taxes. Your job is actually costing you a massive amount of money and time. Now apply that true hourly wage to your everyday purchases, and the math gets really sobering. To put that into perspective, a brand new Volvo doesn't just cost thousands of dollars, it literally costs you 772 working days of your life. A night out at the club with friends, that's 2 full working days gone. A nice restaurant visit, 1 whole working day. Even a basic Spotify account is a quarter of a working day every single month. When you translate your purchases into life energy like this, impulse buying suddenly loses a whole lot of its appeal, doesn't it?
And that perfectly tees up Section 3, finding your exact enough.
This is the ultimate antidote to that endless, exhausting pursuit of more. Think about the relationship between your spending and your fulfillment as a curve. When we have absolutely nothing, every single dollar spent on basic survival massively increases our happiness. As we move into comfort, our fulfillment keeps rising. But notice what happens at the very peak, which we call enough. Once you have enough, buying more luxury items actually causes the curve to drop. Having 10 suits you never wear, or buying a massive house that you constantly have to clean and repair, pushes you right into a negative slope. More stuff literally brings less happiness, more distress, and way more clutter. So how do we course correct here? First things first, we have to make peace with the past. The sources outline a pretty fascinating exercise for this. Calculate everything you have ever earned in your entire life, your total lifetime income. Then figure out your current net worth, which is just all your assets minus your debts. Now compare the two. For a lot of people, seeing millions of dollars earned but only a few thousand actually saved is a massive, game-changing wake-up call. But listen, here is the absolutely crucial part of this exercise. No shame, no blame. Seriously, this is not about depleting your confidence or wallowing in guilt over past impulse buys. It is purely about building awareness. You're just reviewing your past financial choices without any judgment whatsoever, so that you can finally chart a conscious, directed future instead of just driving around blindly. Section 4, tracking every single penny. Once we have that baseline awareness, it's time for actionable solutions. And that starts with the absolute necessity of financial integrity. Our sources provide a fantastic visual for this. Imagine your financial life is a boat. The size of your income, that represents the size of the boat. But your financial integrity, meaning your holistic habits and your awareness around money, represents the hull of the boat. Let's be real, it doesn't matter if you have a massive luxury yacht. If your spending habits lack integrity and you've got holes in the hull, that ship is going down. Earning a higher salary won't save you if you can't manage what you already have. So to patch those holes, you absolutely must track and categorize your spending into needs, wants, and wasteful spending. The sources share these great anecdotes of people doing this exact exercise and being completely shocked to find massive leaks in their financial buckets. We're talking about things like that aspirational gym membership you haven't scanned since January, 4 different streaming subscriptions, or that stress-induced late-night online shopping. By categorizing everything, you clearly see what is actually bringing you genuine joy versus what's just a temporary dopamine hit that's draining your life energy. To empower you even further, keep these 3 filtering questions from the source material in your back pocket before making any purchase. Number 1, did I receive fulfillment proportional to the life energy spent? Number 2, is this expenditure actually aligned with my values and my life purpose? And number 3, how might this expenditure change if I didn't even have to work for money? If a purchase doesn't get a resounding positive response to these questions, yep, you guessed it, it's a hole in your boat. Section 5, reaching the crossover point. All of this tracking and mindset shifting leads us right to the ultimate goal. The psychological power of this next step is just immense. You're going to create a physical wall chart in your home, tracking your monthly income versus your expenses. By applying everything we've just talked about, stopping wasteful spending, finding your enough, your expenses line is naturally going to drop and your income line will hopefully rise. But here is the secret. The growing gap between those 2 lines isn't just extra spending money for the weekend. No, that gap is your capital. It is your freedom capital, which you are going to invest so that your money actually starts making money for you. And building up that capital leads us to the elixir of this entire journey, the crossover point. This is defined as the exact magical moment when the income generated from your investments, whether that's through interest, dividends, or real estate, officially surpasses your monthly living expenses. At this exact moment, you no longer have to trade your life energy for money. You are officially financially independent. You work out of choice, not out of necessity. It's a real game changer. Which leaves us with one final, pretty provocative thought. What would you do with your time if you didn't have to work for money? Would you travel the world? Volunteer? Spend more time with your kids? Maybe finally learn to paint? By realigning your spending with your life energy, that reality isn't just some pipe dream, it's a mathematical certainty. Thanks for joining me on this explainer. Now go reclaim your life energy.